You're listening to The Main Street Deal, part of Main Street Media. I'm Jordan. It's Thursday, May 28th, 2026. Today's story is about Zack, who bought an electrical contracting business in Southwest Florida. Zack Mutnik grew up comfortable around the trades. He spent years in the Navy working on gas turbines, which is high-stakes electrical work under real pressure. When he got out, he stayed in the electrical field, and at some point made the decision that he wanted to own something rather than spend his career building equity for someone else. He started looking at businesses. What he found was Jeff Masters Electric, an established electrical contractor serving the Fort Myers and Cape Coral area of Southwest Florida. Residential work made up about 70% of the revenue, with the other 30% in new construction. The business had 10 employees, 5 lead electricians plus admin, and was generating about $1.7 million in revenue. The seller was representing approximately $700,000 in seller's discretionary earnings. The asking price was $1.651 million. At 2.3 times SDE, that's not a giveaway, but in the trades, it's a reasonable entry multiple if the numbers hold. To fund the deal, Zack had to move quickly and creatively. He sold 2 properties to raise enough capital for the down payment, then closed the financing with an SBA 7A loan. The deal closed as a stock sale, meaning Zack bought the entity itself, not just the assets. He'd learn the significance of that structure soon. Within the first few weeks of ownership, Zack discovered that the business had 2 open lawsuits the seller had not disclosed during due diligence. He was now the owner of those problems. He dealt with them, but it cost him money and bandwidth he hadn't planned on in year 1. Then the workforce walked. 8 of the 10 employees left within the first year. Not a couple of people. 8. Some left with the owner, some left for other reasons, but the result was the same. Zack was trying to run a depleted crew, manage the legal fallout, learn the business from the inside, and rebuild revenue, all at the same time. The seller had committed to providing more transition support than he actually delivered. The business ran on paper-based, archaic systems. Nothing automated, nothing standardized. Revenue dropped. The business had been doing $1.7 million. In 2024, it fell back to about $1.3 million as Zack tried different marketing approaches, some of which didn't land. Most buyers looking at that trajectory at the end of year 1 would have real doubts about what they'd gotten into. But something happened in the fall. Hurricane season in Southwest Florida is not a quiet period for electricians. When the storms come through, generator work becomes emergency work, and demand for installation, repair, and restoration spikes hard. And Zack, with his background running electrical systems under Navy conditions, understood generators at a level most residential electricians don't. That expertise wasn't incidental to the acquisition. It turned out to be the whole game. During hurricane season, the business hit $200,000 a month. That surge gave Zack the revenue, the margin, and the validation he needed. He stabilized the crew. He started building out systems. Revenue recovered to $1.73 million by the end of the year. Back to where the business was when he bought it. With a leaner team and a clearer growth thesis, he's now planning a rebrand to Mutts Electric and targeting $5 million in revenue through 3 divisions: residential service, commercial, and generator work. The generator division isn't an afterthought. For a Navy electrician who bought a business in hurricane country, it's the core of the differentiation play. Here's the lesson from Zack's deal. The stock sale was the single biggest structural risk, and it caught him. When you buy the entity instead of the assets, you inherit everything that entity owns, including its liabilities, its undisclosed lawsuits, and its legal history. An asset purchase doesn't carry that same exposure. If a seller is pushing you toward a stock sale, understand exactly why and get your own attorney doing entity-level due diligence before you sign, not just someone reviewing the P&L. That means searching for every lien, every open judgment, every pending claim, and every liability the entity may be holding. Zack got through it. Not every buyer would. If you're actively searching right now, call your attorney this week and have them walk you through the difference between an asset purchase and a stock sale. Specifically, what you inherit under each structure. Get that conversation done before you're under LOI on a deal where the question actually matters. That's it for Thursday. Find all of Main Street Media's shows wherever you listen. Subscribe, leave a review, and I'll see you Monday in the deal room.